Should I expertise Trajan? Should you expertise Trajan? What the heck is he being used for? And why would you even consider getting him? All that and much more in this video. And of course, we have a little bit of a debate on what to do in the jumper account. I would appreciate your feedback on it as well. And finally, before we start, one of you guys very passionately commented on my previous video, challenging my knowledge. And, well, here you go. You're going to get an answer. And I don't think you're going to like it. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Before we start this video, though, I do want to talk to you guys about a slight subject, and that's about my personal well-being, per se. And yeah, you guys have commented in the past that in the couple last months, the streams have been a little bit like ranty, a little bit bitter, and all that stuff. And I take that feedback, and I appreciate that feedback. Obviously, it came from people that actually cared and worded it in a way that made sense, and not just in a hateful manner, which a lot of people do that. And so I appreciate you guys for it, but I do want to give you a slight taste of the things content creators deal with on the day-to-day basis. So this comment was posted in yesterday's video, and I blocked the guy's name just for the sake of it, but you can go look for him if you really want. It's still there. And essentially, he was extremely passionate about my lack of knowledge and how shameful it is of me to shame others without knowing what I'm talking about. He assumed I don't know what I'm talking about, and so he challenged me. He said it would be funny if I did something about it. So before we start talking about Trajan, I want to show y'all something. The 5555 non-special talented, non-expertise herald. You can see him right here. 5555, but no expertise. The reason for that is he simply did not unfreeze the expertise. And that does happen. That is a thing you need to do. And because he was so passionate about how wrong I am, I want to show y'all that this is actually indeed something you need to do. If you go look at the battle report real quick, and we look at the Zenobia side, which is the side, our side, you won't see essentially what you're looking for is anywhere in here to say Valhalla. Not on this side, but on this side. I don't see Valhalla anywhere, okay? And this is turn 1. Do you see Valhalla in here? I don't. Do you see Valhalla in here? I don't. Do you see Valhalla down here? I don't. All right, let's go to turn 2. Still no Valhalla. And there won't be any Valhallas for the record. I'm going to scroll slowly through a couple of extra turns for you guys to gaze upon and make sure that I'm not like trying to scam you out of anything. And then let's go take a quick peek at a report that does have Valhalla and does have an expertise herald in it, and you'll see exactly how it's supposed to look. So clearly, we reached turn 5, where a special talent was the skills procced, and well, even in here, I still don't see anything that has to do with anything that has to do with anywhere that has to be about Valhalla, right? This is a report of 2 expertise heralds. Shout out to my man Custom. Thank you for your help real quick. And you really didn't have to bring everything, equipment out the wazoo, support skills. What is this? All I wanted was a little report. Homie brought the expertise herald. I brought the expertise herald. The expertise is called Valhalla. And so, of course, I lost for the record. But if you look at the battle report real quick, you'll see from turn 1, Valhalla enabled. From every single turn from here on out, you will see Valhalla in the list. Why? Because the expertise was indeed unfrozen. And yeah, that's how you get the expertise. What he was talking about is if you go into Commander real quick and you click on an unexpertised commander and you look at the expertise, it says this. However, until you unfreeze it, it will not actually trigger it. And with that being said, let's start with today's video. I found myself asking myself, what's the next step for the jumper? And it's not where am I migrating, because unlike popular belief that I said that I might consider migrating at the end of this KVK, consider migrating and deciding to migrate are 2 very different things. There are things that I love about 2070, and there are things that I dislike. There are things I love about 401, and there are things that I dislike. Every kingdom is like that. I'm finding myself sometimes being annoyed by some things and sometimes really happy about them. And so in the future of this account, I would like to get Pakal, but reality dictates that the likelihood of me getting him is very low. And so the question is, what do we do from here on out? And that leaves us with an interesting choice And that's right, the title of this video, Trajan. Now, why should you expertise Trajan? Who should expertise Trajan? And why am I considering it? Trajan's thing is that he's essentially a extreme buffer on the open field, especially right here. If you have him expertised even more, and this skill being the nearby allies, ignore the attack that you do 300 direct damage factor, like 300 damage factor, whoop-de-doo. Nearby allied troops gain 10% increased skill damage, all the way up to 25% increased skill damage, and rage up to 40 rage per second for the next 3 seconds. And on top of that, unfortunately, you take a little bit more damage in the process. And so, okay, not a big deal. You're taking one for the team, but everyone around is just going to start making it rain. This kind of commander, what he does is he takes an L, but he makes sure the ones around him get the W. And at a point where I have a Tilt Takeda, which is not that big of a skill damage, but I do have a Saladin William and a Guan Alex, skill damage starts becoming very interesting. And the thing about Trajan is the majority of people who run Trajan have been running him with Ethelfled. My biggest issue right now is Pakal's not here and Harold is expertised. And so Harold and Charles is nice. I would rather do Alex Harold, but then what do I do with Guan? One of the recommendations by John Wick was potentially Guan YSG, which I might try this KVK. But I found myself stuck with like a half march. If we expertise Trajan, we have Ethelfled that's available as a secondary, and she is a great secondary, primarily because she's an insane debuffer. And so what I would be creating is essentially a march that is a buffer debuffer, which would then re-strength even further the marches that I currently have. And then you ask yourself a question: where do I come in this picture? And by I mean you. If you are a player that is kind of like me, you have either not necessarily all the budget in the world to expertise all commanders and keep up with the meta, or you're a little bit behind and it will take you time to catch up. Trajan, to reinforce your weaker marches right now, might be a really good play, which might be a little bit more short than long term, but he can potentially come back as a 6th or 7th march once you get to that point, and a nice little buffer debuffer march out there. I see people using Richard Jones to buffs and whatnot, and so I think that Trajan is really useful for people who have Ethelfled expertise, which is people who have been playing this game for a while and just got her through the expedition. And then you get that Trajan to be that extra buffer debuffer march you need to reinforce the rest of your marches until you reach a point where you don't need that kind of march around you anymore. So I think that Trajan fits better for players that are not necessarily top tier or are making their way to the top tier and are looking for something that is temporarily to help them to re-strength whatever they have that is fairly strong. I think that my jumper account really hits the ballpark to that criteria. And someone, for example, like my boy Red, who I haven't spoken to in a while, shout out to you, my man Red, I miss you. He is the kind of player, and he said it in his last stream, actually, which I watched the VOD of, that he focuses on commanders that are either open field or rally leaders. And he is someone who can keep up with the latest and greatest meta. He's full spin wheels and has the equipment and has everything that he can focus strictly on commanders more than anything else. And I guess, I mean, he's refined line, so it is what it is. But in his scenario, Trajan is not a good pick. Why? Because he simply can keep stacking that extra damage and those extra rally marches over a buffer debuffer. Where this would fit is, of course, where you're a massive whale and you have all commanders, so why not have Trajan as well? And then that 7th march during KVK can be like a nasty Trajan march that is just like meant to just make your other 6 marches, make everybody weep and cry and go home, especially when you have max tech, and all of a sudden you're hitting with 6 marches, 400k T5s, 2.4 million T5s with a Trajan and crazy skill damage. You're going to do tons of damage. And so I'm on the fence and I need your help. I currently have 321 sculptures. Probably I'll have a little bit more than that by the time fight comes in on Wednesday, which, by the way, we will be streaming our fights of Zone 6. Do I invest into Trajan? I can definitely get him to 5-5 and probably like 2 skills in here, get him to these 2 and hope and pray we land here over landing there. But then I could have a Trajan Ethelfled on the field. I can do 3 decent marches and Trajan Ethelfled, and from there just have that extra something, right? It comes at the cost of essentially getting targeted nonstop, and that's another thing I'm keeping in mind. Trajan is decently tanky, but not that tanky. He's more in the middle side. He's not tanky, but he's also not too squishy like a Khan per se. But my main issue is I'm very low on resources, like extremely low on resources. And so having a march like Trajan that's going to get instantly targeted and then I need to clear my hospital consistently is a problem too. And so should you expertise Trajan? I think the Trajan is a fantastic like wild card that you can have in case you either are working your way up and are looking to strengthen what you have right now with 1 commander upgrade, which would be this one, and then Ethelfled as a secondary. Or if you're very, very much up there, then you can get probably all these crazy DPS marches and still have space for 1 like buffer debuffer march, such as my man Trajan with even Mulan in the background or something like that, and really just do dumb amount of damage. In my case, I think that Trajan might be a thing. It depends on really if I actually think that I can end up getting a Pakal. I don't believe that that'll be the case, and so we're gonna have to see. But because I'm so low on resources, I'm not so sure doing anything on this account at this point. Well, maybe picking up these and training more is, but I'm not sure doing anything anymore on this account is even worth it. Even buying crystals for crystal tech doesn't seem like a good idea to me, because I really don't believe that I'll be able to utilize them as much as I'd like to. So I have been producing a decent amount of crystals, and we are at a decent level on our tech. But to get that extra next level, we're definitely going to need to put an investment in. And without having the resources to play with it, it's just throwing money out the window. What do y'all think? Do I expertise Trajan? Do you want to expertise Trajan? Did you expertise Trajan? If you did, why is that? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about him and what did I miss about him? Because I might have missed something about him. I might have no clue what I'm talking about. Like, I guess my man said in the beginning of the video. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Believe it or not, content creators are not this all-knowing things. I'm just like you guys. I'm learning the game and trying to figure it out. And you guys are probably much smarter than I am in game. So I always ask for your feedback and your recommendations. I'd appreciate to know what you think. I always read the comments and I always am looking for good feedback and bad feedback as well, for the record. Always nice. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. There's a drop like on this video. Hit that subscribe down below. And I will see you in probably tomorrow's stream. I think we go to war very soon. And either way, well, we're going to stream tomorrow either way. Oh, yeah. Man, this is in 2 days. Damn. So it's on the weekend. Nice, dude. Take care and have a good one, guys. Peace.